Hello knitters, Faye Lynn from Strands Knitting Studio in San Clemente, California. And I have some on and off my needles, but mostly hats. It's hat season. It's freezing outside. Hats. Got a hat class coming up and you can make lots of hats between now and Christmas, so stay tuned. What I'm wearing is a cowl. Christine made this one, and it's a one skein cowl out of our lamb and goat, Dream in Color lamb and goat, and it's goat cashmere and lamb merino yarn combined. So it's a wool cashmere blend, merino cashmere blend. It's so soft. So this was one skein. So you can do something like this with one skein. Obviously, you can do something bigger with two skeins. And I think it's 197 yards on here. This is like a sport fingering weight yarn. But I think we went up, I think she was like on an 6, 8, something like that for this. So you don't have to be on teeny tiny needles. Remember, when you're knitting cowls and scarves and stuff like that, push the needle up. If it says on a 3 and 4, go to a 6 and a 7 until you don't like the fabric. Okay, once the fabric gets too loosey-goosey, then come down needle size. But that way you're not stuck on these little, and you don't want them that tight. You want it to be drapey. You don't want it to be a tight fabric, sweater fabric. Because what's on the band is a sweater fabric. And cowls and scarves are, I mean, they can be sweater fabric if you need that real warmth. And you may want to do that. Around here, we don't need that. And it's also just drapier. So, so this is, yeah. So there's a cowl. I'm also going to do another one of these out of what's off my needles. So the Sophie scarf, I'm still in love. I'm totally in love. So this is the one I finished last week. And it ties around your neck. And this is the one I'm going on right now. Again, I can't get away from my Dream in Color. And it's just a beautiful color. This one I'm making a little bit longer. So I just added an extra row between all the increases, so that it's just a little bit longer. Mostly I wanted to use up a little bit more of my yarn, so we'll see how this works out. And then I'm gonna make one out of one of these yarns. The colors are up here. I haven't decided yet which one I'm gonna use. It'll probably be this one. I don't know why I'm fooling myself saying I'm gonna choose another color. It'll probably be this one. But this is my go-to girls gift this year. These are so much fun. They're so fast, they're so easy, it's so relaxing to knit them, and it uses one skein of yarn. You just can't go wrong. And of course, you know, I'm using Dream, but you can use anything, really anything. Sport, worsted, DK, I think the pattern's DK, but sport, DK, worsted, doesn't matter. It's a little tie, neck tie. So anyways, I'm loving. I'm gonna be knitting at least 3, maybe 4 of these, and it just takes no time at all, and it's just not thinking. It's really a great pattern. So okay, hats. So this Sunday is the hat class. Literally, you can knit any hat. I designed it to be done for the newest hat I made, which is this one, the Wister Hat. And it is a slip stitch hat. I'll put the picture of the pattern up here so you can see. And we combined the cashmere and the brochure. So it's really yummy, very yummy. And of course it has a pom-pom. Doesn't have to have pom-pom, but it does. I had enough left of this to where this could be more slouchy. This like fits, it's a beanie that fits. If you want a slouchy beanie, you just want it taller, there's plenty of yarn to make it longer. Plenty of yarn. And you could also add like 4 extra stitches if you need it a little bigger. So, so you have flexibility with this hat and this yarn. So that's number 1 hat that I had going. And the Fidra was the second hat we had going. So that's this hat, which again, this was so much fun to knit. It's such a pretty hat. This one fits me, barely fits me. I have a big head. It goes with my body. So this one fits me, but I would prefer it to be a little bit longer. But on this one, you had enough yarn to make it longer. But on this one, you can't add in here with the pattern. So what you have to do is you have to increase the ribbing. So like I would add an extra inch of ribbing to my hat before I started the pattern to make it so that it was not quite so tight on my head. You know, the length what actually went down to my ears and stuff. So But this hat is fun to make. It's a gorgeous hat. It's just a gorgeous hat. And it's a one skein hat. So all these are pretty much one skein hats unless they're in a kit. No, I lied. One's a two skein hat. So there's that one. And this one uses Harriet Great, which is an alpaca, really super, super, super soft. This is another Harriet Great hat that we did. It's called the CC Copycat Beanie. Because you see these sold everywhere. They're all over stores. And last year they were really all over stores, but I've even seen them again this year. So so this one is a very simple hat. You got a rib section, and then you have a knit a row, purl a row section. Purling. No, you're all purling because you're in the round. So you have a rib section, a purl, rib, purl, rib, purl, rib. And so it's very simple. It's a fun hat. Again, it's one skein of the Harriet Great, which we have quite a few colors in. And of course, pom-poms. Yay. This is called Mirror Pond Beanie. Now this is super chunky. It's at least on 17s, I think. I'll look it up and put it up here because I don't remember. But this is super chunky yarn. Here, let me pick up the white one so you can really see. It's super chunky yarn. Very chunky yarn. But obviously you had enough for two, you have two colors, and there's enough to do the pom-pom. So this is out of these two colors. You can also do it out of the, you can do it out of anything. Now the other thing you can do is you can do it out of two solid colors. A lot of the patterns on Ravelry are solid. And so like these two, you can do really pretty. We have a really pretty green one, if I can get it, sort of dense. So we could do that. So you don't have to use the print if you don't want to. You could absolutely do solid. And this aqua is such a pretty color. This is such a pretty hat. I did this for my sister last year. This is such a pretty hat. So this hat, you could come and do this hat. There's a little trick to this part here to help make it a little easier to do. But this is a rib thing. All right. And then what else other hat did I have? Okay, so then I was going to remind you about the blue sky fiber hats. So we have the stripy hat, which I have over here, so you can try it on. Now with this hat, you need to know how to do a jogless jog, because it looks weird if you don't. Okay, so if you don't know how to do a jogless jog, get it going, you know, get your first color on and your rib done, because you do the rib in one color. And then when you're ready to change your next color, come in to a workshop. Oh, got fuzzies in my nose. Come into a workshop and I teach you how to do a jogless jog so that it's seamless, okay? Because it just looks a little better. It looks a little better. So, and then we have this hat. This one also would need a jogless jog. And it's got 3 skeins in it. As we said, we think, we don't know for sure, but we think using the yellow, the goldy color, you might be able to get 2 hats. I don't know if you can get 2 hats on a pom-pom, but you can probably get definitely 2 hats and out of this one kit. And then we have this kit. And that one you could come in with, and off screen, hold on. I'm back. And then we have this one, which is a big color work one. So this is the kit for the hat and the cowl. Yes. So anyways, so there's some hat ideas. Of course, there's a million trillion hats. The one thing I would tell you to do is make sure you're getting close to gauge in the round, not back and forth. It's different. When you're going back and forth, you're doing purl stitches, and purl stitches tend to be looser and use more yarn than your knit stitches. In the round, you're only knitting to get that same knit purl look. So you only have knit stitches. So it's tighter, it's a tighter gauge than it is back and forth. So what you need to do is just start your hat, and you may have to pull it out, but start your hat and, you know, go ahead and get it going, and then measure your gauge. Now, once you start knitting, you're gonna know that you know how you fit gauge. I've said this before. If you know you're a tighter knitter, you'll automatically go up a needle size. If you know you're a loose knitter, you're automatically gonna go down a needle size. If you're sort of in the middle, most of the time you're gonna be pretty close to gauge. But you just have to try it out for a few times and make sure. But hats need to fit, and hats are notorious for not wanting to fit. So gauge is important in a hat. And if nothing else, get the hat started and try it on. you know. Like once you do have this much, put it on. Make sure it looks like it's gonna fit. You can slip it onto 2 needles if you need to, so that you can actually get it on. Because if you're on a 16-inch circular, you're not gonna be able to get it on. You can do that, or you can get these things that I've talked about, the little silicone tubing things that you slip onto your needle, tip of your needle, and you can slide the stitches on. They just slide right on. Try on your hat. Then you put the tip back into the needle and you slide it back onto your needle. It takes like 30 seconds to do this. New must in everybody's knitting toolkit. And it's just like having markers. If you can't, you have to have markers. You really have to have this. It makes life so much easier, ridiculously easier. So anyways, try on your hat. You know, get so much, try it on, make sure it's gonna fit. And like, I know that if it fits me, it's gonna fit the smaller head. But if you've got something like if I'm really like, don't know, then I'll find somebody that I say, oh, I think that head's about the same. Will you try this on? You know, different family member, whatever. And, but try your hats on, because last thing you want is to knit a hat and it's too tight or it's too short or anything like that. So that's gauge matters. Okay, my last little thing is I'm adding a workshop for the holiday season. So I'm going to put in Wednesdays from 4 to 6. That's going to be inside because it's dark. And so I've got a limited I have a limited number of people I can work with inside right now. So 4 to 6 Wednesday. So now we have Wednesday morning, afternoonish, 11 to 1, Wednesday at 4 to 6, Thursday 4 to 6. And then Saturday, Sunday are 10 to 12. So there's now, what is that, 5? There's 5 workshops in the week instead of just 4 through the holidays. I'm not guaranteeing that this will go on afterwards, but right now through the holidays, my Thursdays are booked up like before they even come. So I want to give another option for people who can't come during the week, during the day, to be able to get in to an evening class. So Wednesdays 4 to 6 starting this week and going through till Christmas. All right, so that's it for this week, and I hope to see you guys in the studio real soon. Bye.